Skies will stay clear overnight tonight. Winds die down. We'll have low temperatures very comfortable in the upper 40s. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist Brad Sugden on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents
Nebraska's #1 independent computer repair company
with offices in Omaha and Lincoln. This is Compute This.
Alrighty, folks, welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. 866-496-8772. That's the number to join us on the program today. Of course, if you ask a question or make a comment, we'll put you in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate that we give away here at the end of the program. All you have to do is participate, be a part of the program, and then we'll get you all hooked up with that. All right, we have a lot to go over today. It has been an incredibly busy, all-hands-on-deck kind of week at Schrock here. As you know, or may not have known in the last week, the Microsoft patch came out, the spring update, which was later renamed the April update, that was released at the very, very, very end of April. And it caused a few issues. There was a few unexpected bugaboos that happened there. So to refresh your memory, Microsoft released the initial patch, they called it the Spring Creators Update, about 4 weeks ago. After they released it, we started pushing it out. Then Microsoft pulled it back. They said, that's not quite right. We don't want to launch that yet. There's a bug called a blocking bug that isn't basically working properly. The update's not working. And what it was doing was it was blocking your ability to buy things in the Microsoft Store. That was the bug. Then I wonder why Microsoft wouldn't have talked about that. It's not a super critical thing. You just can't buy anything from us. So they stopped the update, and we then pulled the update from the Safe Upgrade program, which you can still get a copy of that if you need it over at SchrockInnovations.com. But Safe Upgrade is supposed to automatically, or not automatically, that's Secure Updater. Safe Upgrade is supposed to basically manage the installation process of this patch for you. It checks your computer's hard drive, make sure your patches are all up to date, make sure that all the things that need to be in line to get the update to install properly are there. Then it applies the update for you. Now, the interesting thing about the situation is when they released that first update that was bad, it was version 1803. That's going to become important later. Stay tuned for the rest of the story. Now, Microsoft pulls the update, saying it's not right. They said, give us 2 weeks, we're going to get it fixed. So they took 2 weeks, and they fixed it, and they released a new update. They renamed it the April update instead, which was incredibly imaginative, I might add. And then they released this update, which also happened to be version 1803. Now, for those of you who've never developed a piece of software before, typically you give a different version number for the software. Now, in the case of Windows, there's a version number and a build number. And the build number did change, but nobody ever pays attention to the build number unless you're like a beta tester and you're testing versions of Windows that haven't been released yet. Once you get the version number 1803, that's what everybody bases everything off of. If I ask you what version of Windows are you running, you're going to say version 1803, right? Okay. Well, now if you have version 1803, you could actually have 2 different versions of Windows, right? So, of course, Safe Upgrade is designed to be very precise and very meticulous about how it installs things. So when it installs the update, it has a hash, or when it downloads the update, when it downloads that Spring Creators Update, when the download is finished, it compares what you downloaded to basically, it's called a hash, what the actual, a code basically, that will tell you if the download was successful or not. We can compare these two things together. We can get a verified download or an unverified download. And in the event of an unverified download, the user is prompted to please try again. Oh, well, when we coded Safe Upgrade, we never considered the possibility, I suppose, that you could have 2 different versions of Windows that have the same version number. Yeah, that's not supposed to happen, but it did. And so now that it did happen, what we had was Safe Upgrade was confused because it was downloading version 1803, but it didn't match the hash for the previous version 1803. Therefore, the download must have been corrupted. Therefore, please try again. So we had 1,000 people. Remember when we said, why do we only sell 1,000 of these things? We sell 1,000 of them because if something cataclysmic goes wrong, we need to be able to shoot tech support. And if we sold 10,000 of them, we don't have enough people for that. So we kept it to 1,000. We sold them out, and then this happened. And the phones just lit up. I mean, it was like nobody could download it. So then everybody, our listeners, followed directions. So they tried again. So they tried downloading a second time, and a third time, and a 17th time, and 1,000 people. We bought enough server guys for 1,000 people to install it once, maybe twice, not 17 to 23 times. And so now all of a sudden the server starts reporting, the server is busy, please try again later. And, at first when this started happening, we're looking at this and we couldn't figure out what was going on, because we're like, wow, the server is really busy. Everybody must have downloaded it at the same time. Well, then we had 1,000 downloads, and we're like, well, that's everybody at least once. We expect to see 12 or 1,300 downloads because, some people get interrupted, whatever. And we hit 2,000 downloads pretty quickly. Then we hit 3,000 downloads. Then we added 2 more servers because we couldn't keep up with the number of people downloading it. And then we hit 5,000 downloads, and we're like, okay, something is very not right. So we went back and reverse engineered the process, and literally it took almost 24 hours for us to track down the fact that the hash for version 1803 did not match the actual calculated hash for version 1803. It's because there were 2 version 1803s. And like I said, that's not supposed to happen, but it did. So now Safe Upgrade in the future, if that ever happens again, we now have the ability to differentiate between 2 different versions of that are numbered identically of 2 different operating systems. So bottom line, everything is working with Safe Upgrade. Everything has been working with Safe Upgrade for the last few days. So if you purchased a copy of Safe Upgrade, now is the time for you to download and install that on your computer. You can go to your Schrock account at SchrockInnovations.com, download the Safe Upgrade program. Now, if you downloaded a previous Safe Upgrade, let's say you did it last fall, and you still have that one. Or let's say you downloaded it 3 weeks ago and you still have that one. You don't want to run those because we have a whole new version of Safe Upgrade. You want to go back to your Schrock account, SchrockInnovations.com, and download the most recent version and run that if you're having trouble. If you are still having trouble, we are at the point now where we need to get you some assistance, okay? So if you're still having trouble installing the Spring Creators Update, please contact us at the service centers. This is what we're here for. We do want to hear from you. We'll go ahead and check and see what's going on. Some people have it installed. They're running the wrong version, basically. They're running not the most recent download, but the one from 2 weeks ago. And they're running that one, and it's installing it, but it's saying it's not installed successfully. So you could get a message that says that the installation was not successful, when in fact it actually was successful. We can check that over the Schrock desk. Give us a call in the service centers today. We're open on Saturday from 10 to 8 and Sunday from noon to 5. Give us a call. Let us remote in and check it for you. It just takes a second. Otherwise, if you're having trouble installing it, Safe Upgrade is amazing because the whole concept behind it primarily is you get a warranty on the installation, because 20% of the installs are going to be jacked up. There's going to be some huge mondo crazy problem that causes something bad to happen, and you're going to end up in my service center paying $100 to $200 to get us to fix your computer, basically. Instead, you buy Safe Upgrade for $50, you run the update, and if something goes sideways, now you have a warranty. That's the primary benefit, okay? It's basically the same stuff that we do as technicians when you come into the service center for us to install an update. So it works out really well. Now, here's the thing. There are some people that downloaded Safe Upgrade, that did everything right. They got the most recent version. They attempted to install it on the computer, and it still failed. Those people ended up on our benches because, they have a warranty, right? Why did Safe Upgrade fail for these people? One user did not have enough free hard drive space on her computer to install Safe Upgrade. She was 3 gigabytes short of space. Okay, now what would have happened if she didn't have Safe Upgrade? What would have happened? Microsoft would have downloaded that update to her computer again and again and again, and then tried to install it every other day, and it would continually fail because she doesn't have enough hard disk space. Okay, number 2, we had another customer in Omaha. This one blew my mind. She was in on April 19th for a preventative maintenance checkup where we tested all the hardware on her computer. So this is less than a month ago. She was in for a maintenance checkup. We tested everything, and all the hardware tested perfectly, okay? She does Safe Upgrade, which tests her hard drive's health as part of the installation process, and it pops up and says, hey, guess what? Your hard drive's bad. It's 87% health. We really recommend you don't install this. She called us. She goes, there has to be some kind of mistake. And we said, well, ma'am, when you were in for your maintenance checkup, we did install Drive Advisor, which you guys can install. It's online, driveadvisor.com, advisor.com. But what it does is it just sits down there in your system tray. And if your hard drive goes bad, it sends you an email telling you your hard drive's bad. So I said, ma'am, if your hard drive is bad, you should have gotten an email about it. And she had Gmail for her email account. I'm like, oh, boy. How often do you look at your promotional tab? Because for whatever reason, Google thinks Drive Advisor emails are sales emails. But we never, ever, ever sell anything through the Drive Advisor name. It's all free. There is no monetization. There are no special one-time offers. There are no partners. There's nothing like that. There's not even anyone we can sell your information to, okay? All it does is send you an email to tell you your hard drive is bad. Why didn't she get the email? It's stuck in her promotions folder. So she opens up Drive Advisor and it confirms 87% health. It's bad. Okay. So her hard drive went from 100% health to 87% health in less than a month. So for those of you who say, hey, Thor, I have Drive Advisor, I have Secure Updater, I have Endpoint. Do I really need to buy Drive Advisor? In her case, if she would have installed this update, she could have crashed her entire hard drive. Because this is a 3.2 gigabyte download, first of all. Then it's going to install a whole new operating system on the bad hard drive. Then it's going to move all of her stuff from the old operating system to the new operating system. And then it's going to delete the old operating system. I can't think of anything more disk intensive that you could possibly do with a computer than that. So yeah, it probably would have crashed her hard drive. And so she stopped because she had Safe Upgrade, and it saved her a whole world of hurt. 866-496-8772. So overall, guys, the message today is Safe Upgrade is still available on the website at SchrockInnovations.com. Chances are, for the most part, you have not received this update yet from Microsoft. If you want to check yourself to see if you have the most recent version of Windows 10, of course, like Keith Gee here on Facebook, if you have Windows 7, you don't have to worry about this particular update. You don't have, because you don't get it. It's only for Windows 10. But if you have Windows 10 and you want to see if you got the correct update, on your screen in the lower left-hand corner is the Start menu. It's that little 4-box thing. You right-click on that. Normally, you would left-click on it to open, but you want to right-click on it because we want more options, okay? Then you go to System. You left-click on System, and once you're in here, this tells you everything about your computer. So right-click on the Start menu, left-click on System. When you scroll down, you're going to see version 1803. As we've discussed, there are two 1803s. So if you see any number besides 1803, you don't have the most recent version, okay? Then below that, the OS build number. I'm not going to tell you all the blah, 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 dot, blah, 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 blah. It ends in 4.1. If you have 3.1, that's the wrong 1803. So you want 1803 and 4.1. So once again, you right-click on your Start menu, you left-click on System, and you check and see 1803, 4.1, then you're good to go. Anything else besides those two numbers, and you need Safe Upgrade. So there you have it. And if you purchase Safe Upgrade and you think your installation went well, and you look and you see that those numbers are not there, that means you need to run it again. Go to your Schrock account, get your copy, the newest copy of Safe Upgrade, and run it again on the computer. 866-496-8772. If I didn't mention, we are live on Facebook right now, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, which has been incredibly bug-free this morning. It hasn't crashed. It hasn't blown up. I've gotten to the point now when I write the description for the show, what we're going to talk about today, I write it and then I copy it because I know it's going to crash. And when it crashes, I can start another one and just paste it in real quick. Because usually I have to do that while I'm like, hey, I'm Thor. I'm here for compute this. And I'm typing while I'm talking. You know, Control V is a lot faster than trying to type a bunch of sentences in there. So it works out. So if you do have Facebook, you can watch us there. By the way, you know, a lot of people say, hey, Thor, I don't have a Facebook account anymore. Or I don't have a Facebook account. I can't watch you on Facebook. That's not true. The Schrock Innovations page at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations is open to everybody. You don't have to have a Facebook account to look at it. You can go there and you can watch the video. Also, the shows are archived there. They're also archived on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. 866-496-8772. Let's jump into the phones here real quick. Bonnie, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
I've got a question.
Okay.
I don't usually do this, but when it was going to storm, I turned off the computer.
Okay.
When I turned it on, I have this little box that says post HTTPS, blah, 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 secure updater, blah, 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 and an error occurred while sending the request.
Okay.
And I never did click on OK because I wanted to be able to show you then a whole bunch of numbers and things I don't understand.
Gotcha. Well, let's acknowledge that request. So click OK.
Click OK,
Yeah,
okay.
and let's close Secure Updater and then relaunch it again. So down in the lower right-hand corner by your clock down there.
Okay, I'm trying to click OK. Nothing's happening.
Is there an OK there to click?
Yes.
What other options are there?
No other option.
Okay. Now, this error message, what kind of a window is it in? Is it in like a web browser window, or is it just like a little window in the middle of the screen?
A little window in the middle of the screen.
Is there an X in the top right corner of that window that you can click on?
No.
So it just says OK, and you can't click on it.
No, it doesn't do anything.
Well, at this point, then, let's restart the computer because it sounds like something's locked up there.
Well, I think I have restarted it before. Let me do it again.
Yep, go ahead and restart it again for me.
Okay.
And then while it's restarting, let's ask a couple questions here. First of all, is the computer one that we built for you, or is it a different build?
It's a different build. It's a Dell.
Okay, no worries. All right, because the reason I ask that is a lot of times when we build computers for customers, there's a shortcut right on the desktop for Schrock Desk where you can basically get to it really easily. I've done a lot of Schrock Desks in the last few days. In fact, it's kind of funny. Fun fact. This week, we've received more 5-star reviews on Google than any other week in Schrock Innovation's existence in 19 years.
Huh.
And it's because we were individually helping a lot of people. And a lot of people were like, this is why I love Schrock, because my goodness, when something goes sideways, you guys are right there to bail us out. And we had some tired technicians. Because I think we pretty much installed like 200 copies of, what is that beeping noise?
That's my alarm.
You should get up.
Yeah, I know. I better get up.
I was like, if that's your computer, that could be the problem, ma'am.
No, that's not the computer.
It seems your computer is about to explode. You see.
I would be really concerned if my computer started doing that.
One time we had a customer who called us, no joke, and his computer was beeping when it was starting up, and it was just continually beeping. And there was nothing wrong with the hardware because usually computers beep one time, like beep, when they start up, and that beep tells you everything is okay. And then you can get different kinds of beeps. You can get beep 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. It tells you the video card's bad. Or the rhythmic beep tells you the memory is bad. So those beeps are good diagnostic tools, right? Well, this guy's computer was not giving any recognizable diagnostic code. And we're like, I don't understand what's going on here. And so so then he says, Thor, I finally figured it out. You see, I was in the Navy, and I did a lot of Morse code in the Navy. And it's actually 2 Morse code signals overlaid over the top of each other.
Huh.
And I'm like, okay, you're creeping me out now. Your computer. He goes, well, who could be doing this, Thor? And I'm like, I don't know of anybody who'd be communicating with you through dual Morse code signals through your computer's BIOS speaker. That would be Satan, That's not good. Okay, he ended up trading that in for an ultimate upgrade, and we quickly recycled that. It got taken apart like Christine and sent to the junkyard. But yeah. All right, has your computer rebooted, Bonnie?
It's working on being rebooted.
And see, this is why. And the other reason I asked you if you had a Schrock build or not is all the Schrock computers, especially our laptops, they're all solid state now. And so when you go to reboot them or start them up, they boot in like 6 seconds.
Oh,
which when you're doing a radio show, it's a lot easier to fill 6 seconds of time than it is to fill 60 or 90 seconds with meaningless babble. You talk about Satan a little bit. You hit all the buzzwords. No.
Okay, now I thought I had restarted it before and still had that up, but now it comes up and the little icon says no action needed, and this is virus and threat service has stopped, restart now.
There you go.
So I hit restart as soon as the little thing stops going by. Now the thing comes up, Secure Updater started.
Good.
But it says restart now on the thing.
But it might not be Secure Updater asking you to restart. Those alerts that slide in from the right hand of the screen, those alerts are the same as for every program, basically, whether it's Secure Updater, whether it's Windows, whether there could be any number of programs sliding alerts in from the right. One of the things that Windows 10 did is it made everybody's alerts look the same.
Oh, okay. So should I hit restart now on Secure Updater?
If it's asking you to restart, yes, it's probably downloading and installing a version update for Secure Updater.
Okay.
Yep. So go ahead and hit restart there. I've got to run here, though.
Okay.
Bonnie, thank you for the call. I've got you in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. If by some chance that restart doesn't take care of it, it should. But if it doesn't for some reason, give us a call in the service center. We're open Saturday 10 to 8 and Sunday from noon to 5.
Okay. Looks like it took care of it. Thank you.
Woohoo! All right, Bonnie. Thanks for the
Bye.
call. I appreciate it. 866-496-8772. Maggie on Facebook is asking, hey, I ordered a new Galant. What's the status on my new computer? Maggie, your Galant, it looks like it is scheduled for delivery on or before May 10th. The Galant is our high-end laptop that we offer at Schrock Innovations. The Galant is all new this year, actually. We have some new computer specs coming out. We actually had a guy get upset with us about the Galant because we haven't printed new catalogs this year yet. And so we don't want to have the website and the catalog look different. So he looked at the website and he saw that, it came with, the old Galant came with an A9 processor and came with a DVD drive and DDR3 memory. And the new Galant comes with an i5 8th generation processor, way faster processor, comes with DDR4 memory, way faster memory, comes with a new generation solid state, way faster hard drive, no DVD drive. As I mentioned, especially on higher end computers, it is getting difficult for us to find the DVD drives anymore because nobody wants them anymore, except for our customers apparently, because he was hot. Oh, he was mad. There was no DVD drive. So we gave him an external DVD drive to make up for it. But we are changing out all those models on the website. I got a guy email me about the Venture, too, saying the Venture looks a little stale. And that's because we have a new Venture coming out. The trouble is I can't put it on the website the day we release it because we're building Ventures for people. That's our high-end desktop. And we want to build them with the new specs so that we don't have somebody who orders a Venture and then we change the specs and they get the old Venture. You realize how that might be kind of poopy? When you're, I just got this and it was brand new and it was the best one Schrock had and they came up with a new one tomorrow. Oh, man. So we want to come out with the new one quietly. And once we've filled all of our Venture orders, then we release it and then everybody gets the new stuff. And people call in and complain, I just bought this. We'll say, take a look. You got the new one because, we love you. 866-496-8772. Got to take a break, guys. Coming up next on the program, though, I mentioned we had a lot to cover today. You may have heard about the Twitter password bug. Woohoo! Change those passwords. Every single Twitter user. We're going to cover that. Also, Singapore companies that actually a lot of the patches you get on your computer come from Singapore. They're reporting they're having trouble keeping up issuing patches. And that means, and then they blame human error for people not installing them. But they're having trouble keeping up, so we're going to talk about that as well. Also coming up on the program today, big deal here. You might remember the Spectre vulnerability. There are 8 more of them that are going to be released. My Intel is producing patches right now, but the Spectre vulnerability slowed some of your Intel-based computers down by more than 30%. And there are 8 more of them coming. So we're going to tell you what's going on in the world of computer security coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 423. Everyone knows you need an antivirus and firewall program for your computer, but which one is the best? Should you use the free ones, pay for a commercial product, or maybe even the free stuff your internet service provider gives you? The absolute worst thing you can do is to install nothing. Windows 10 comes with Windows Defender, but Microsoft never intended it to be your primary antivirus product. Free antivirus like AVG or Avast are more effective than Windows Defender, but Consumer Reports ranks the free antivirus products in the middle of the pack when compared to their commercial competitors. As for the free software from your internet provider, forget about it. It's designed to protect their network, not your computer. There are two products that trade the crown for best antivirus software year after year. Schrock recommends Symantec products like Endpoint, but the Russian-made Kaspersky antivirus program also does an outstanding job. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we fix computers. We upgrade computers. A new version of Windows is coming soon. A lot of people doing solid-state upgrades lately, too. In fact, I would say 70% of the customers who come in that have a bad hard drive take the opportunity, because they're going to replace the hard drive anyway, to replace it with a solid state. It's only like 50 or 60 bucks more, and the computer's performance is so much better. So if you do end up in that boat where your hard drive is failing, or if your computer is just a lot slower than it used to be, you know, after the last Spectre vulnerability patch, your computer slowed down 30%. If you want that 30% back, upgrade to a solid state hard drive. It's amazing. All right, we recover data from computers. If you have a crashed hard drive, something like that, if it gets too far and your hard drive goes bad and you want to replace it, but you got to get your data, we can do that for you too. Software design and development. This is crazy. The stuff that they can do at Schrock Interactive will blow your mind. Right now, we are in the process of engineering an entire new online workflow management system for Schrock Innovations that is going to bring all of our communications into the current 21st century. So we're going to integrate text messaging. We're going to integrate emailing. We're going to integrate automated phone calling, all together to communicate better. That's the big thing with us. It's hard because people are expensive. I had a guy criticize us on Facebook. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. It was last week because it was about the spring update that he called in and he was on hold for 14 minutes. And just like most places, we don't have enough people to answer the phones anymore. Sad day. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, he's right. We didn't have enough people to answer the phones. Obviously, that's why he was on hold for 14 minutes. And that's never a good thing. You don't want to leave your customers on hold for 14 minutes and have them give up, you know. The problem was, you know, he called right at 10 o'clock on a day when the entire world was ending, and we had 1,000 people calling 3 service centers at 10 o'clock that day. We were doing the best we could. You know, you can't always stay ahead. So if we can automate even the smallest amount of communication, we're still going to call you. We're still going to be that personal touch where we call you and say, hey, your computer's ready. But before we call you to say your computer's ready, you're going to get a text message to say, hey, your computer's ready. Or if we checked in your computer and we forgot to ask you for your password, or maybe you said there wasn't a password and then we got it in the back and there is a password. Well, before you get the call from the technician saying, hey, we're going to call you, we need your password, you're going to get a text message saying, hey, Schrock Innovations needs you to call them. Please contact us at this number. And for some people, text message is faster. And, of course, you'll be able to opt out and all that stuff. But the bottom line is we're getting a huge technological makeover on the back end at Schrock that's going to make our communications better. It's going to speed the delivery of our new build computers, and it's going to help automate a lot of things that are behind the scenes that we're doing manually right now, which get my people's fingers out of those things so they can get back on the phones delivering award-winning service, and that's where we want them to be. 866-496-8772. Going to take our bottom of the hour break here, guys. Thanks for sticking with us here. When we come back, we're going to hit the Twitter bugs. Yes, that's worse than just changing your Twitter password, unfortunately, and it applies to all Twitter users. We're going to talk about the companies that make the patches that you download through programs like Secure Updater, how they're having trouble keeping up with the security vulnerabilities and why it's more important than ever for you to install that stuff. Also, coming up on the program, the ultimate upgrade is in full effect. We still have a few of those left over at the service centers, and you can check that out. We're going to tell you all about that, and 8 more Spectre vulnerabilities. Hopefully, if you have 8 vulnerabilities that drop the speed of your computer 30% per vulnerability, could you actually have negative speed? Could you actually have to, like, do something for the computer? I don't know. We're going to figure all that out coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed Symantec endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases, even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually, or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. President Trump in Cleveland, Ohio, Saturday at a business roundtable to talk about tax cuts. He also touched on immigration and the wall.
We are fixing and building walls now, but we need much more money. We're doing the job right. We're going to do the job. And we may have to close up our country to get this straight, because we either have a country or we don't.
A little history on the hoof happening during Saturday's Kentucky Derby.
It was the rainiest Derby in race history. More than 2.8 inches fell at Churchill Downs to break a 99-year record. But Justify was not fazed by the conditions. He led the pack to finish in a time of 2:04.2 for the mile and a quarter. Justify is the first horse since 1882 to win the Derby without racing as a 2-year-old. He beat Good Magic by 2.5 lengths. Audible placed third. The victory was the 5th for trainer Bob Baffert, the second most in Derby history.
Fox's Bob Mortale. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
An isolated shower possible first thing in the morning. Then we bring out a lot of sunshine. Temperatures warming up to 80 degrees this afternoon. Winds will be out of the north, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Skies will stay clear overnight tonight. Winds die down. We'll have low temperatures very comfortable in the upper 40s. With Omaha's most accurate weather team, I'm 6 News meteorologist Brad Sugden on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
That is a perfect song for this week. Patch sabotage. Oh, it's everywhere. All right, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, online through the Schrock Desk, and on-site to your home or business. Yes, we also have corporate IT services. This blows my mind. We charge $275 per computer per year for corporate services, okay? $100 flat rate service call if you call us out. If we're there for an hour, it's $100. If we're there for 10 hours, it's $100. If we bring 2 technicians, it's $100. It doesn't matter. Flat rate. That's what flat rate means. If you kick the surge protector under the desk, we come out and flip that switch and say, "Silly rabbit, you kicked the switch." It's $100. If we come out and rebuild your entire network from the ground up, that's $100 too. Compare that to $3,000 a month from other corporate IT places out there. And I don't understand why more people aren't using it. I mean, we're geared toward businesses that have 20 computers or less. We don't do businesses higher than that. We actually refer them over to, like Bizco, E-Frames, all these other places, because we're not geared for that yet. We'll get there. But right now, we're focused on the small business people. The small business people who need to have IT support. They're big enough to need IT support, but they're not big enough to justify the existence of a full-time IT guy all the time hanging around. That's what we're here for. but blows my mind. So yes, we do corporate IT work as well. All right, so getting into this stuff that's going on here, Singapore, which is kind of surprised me when I saw the story. I was like, Singapore? Singapore organizations are struggling to cope with the volume of security patches. 78% of these companies are saying they lack adequate resources to keep pace with updates, and 74% are citing the inability to take critical systems offline so they can be patched quickly. What this means is the overseas people who are writing the patches to patch our stuff and make it secure, we don't let them, we don't want any downtime. So you can't take my Facebook Live down to put a patch in it. So you have to patch everything on the fly, which is really, really dangerous. It makes testing difficult. So you have to build a whole testing environment now that's just like the real environment, but it's a testing environment. And you test everything there before you roll it out. It's a mess. But basically, the thing that stood out to me, these companies spend an average of 154 hours a week rolling out patches. So think about that. So this is like Adobe or Oracle with Java. 154 hours a week on rolling out patches. How many hours a week do you spend on downloading patches? When's the last time you actually downloaded a patch? And one of the things that I wanted to bring this up is because if they're spending this much time, and they're saying here that later on in the story, they report that the majority of the patches that the frustrating thing is it's a patching paradox, because they make the patches then exposed security vulnerabilities that maybe only the company knew about. As long as you patch your stuff, everything is okay. But so few people patch their stuff that when they expose the vulnerability, now everybody knows about it. And as a result, everybody gets hit because you didn't patch your stuff. So it's a patching paradox. If we don't tell anyone about the security update, eventually you'll get hit. And if we do tell you about the security update and patch it, you won't download the patch and you'll get hit anyway. That's why we created Secure Updater, guys. Secure Updater is a program that you can get a free trial at secureupdater.com. This is one of the weird ones. You don't go to Schrock for this. We make Secure Updater, so it's a Schrock product. And this is one of the reasons why we need a whole new integrated back-end system so that we can centralize your Secure Updater subscriptions with your endpoint subscriptions, with your preventative maintenance checkup certificates, and your safe upgrade subscriptions, and put it all together in one spot. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, here's the thing, guys. You need to install these patches, like now. I just had somebody complain to me that the Facebook feed doesn't work on Internet Explorer. Oh my goodness, Internet Explorer hasn't been patched or updated since 2011. It's a dead browser. Microsoft said they couldn't possibly secure it. Yet I gave a presentation for the city of Lincoln, and the committee I was presenting to, we just kind of casually said, we're not even going to test it with Internet Explorer because that's just a waste of your money. And they literally, like, it stopped the meeting. What do you mean you're not going to test it with Internet Explorer? Well, it's a dead browser. No one uses it anymore. And they all looked, and I'm like, wait a minute. How many of you actually use Internet Explorer? And every single one of them raised their hands. I'm like, oh my gosh. This isn't the government, right? I mean, they're supposed to be secure. Why do they even let them use Internet Explorer? Why isn't it removed from the computer? IT administrator, come on, man. Oh, anyway. So yes, it doesn't work on Internet Explorer, but you got to patch your stuff, guys. That means when you get the new version of Chrome or Firefox or Java or Skype or Dropbox, because Dropbox gets updated, no joke, every other day of the week, or CCleaner even, all the freebie programs, Malwarebytes, all these things that you have on your computer, TeamViewer, VLC Media Player, stupid little programs that you may not even know you have on your computer need to be updated to close these security vulnerabilities, because once the companies put out a patch, now everybody knows about the vulnerability, and the bad guys make viruses because they know 56%, 57% of you will not install the patch within 2 weeks. So literally, it's like all I have to do as a criminal is sit back and wait for the company to patch their own stuff. Then I look at what they patched and I say, hey, write an exploit for that. I don't even have to be super smart and find the vulnerabilities on my own, because half of you don't install the patches. So here's the thing, guys. Secure Updater, you can get a free 2-week trial of it at secureupdater.com. You install it on your computer and it runs. It'll patch everything current, get everything good to go. We just revamped the software. It's now an amazingly modern program. The original one, I think, was built in 2006, so it was getting a little stale. So we revamped the interface a little bit. It gives you a little more feedback about what kind of patches you get installed on your computer. It also helps you manage your subscription more directly through the program. You can even upload a picture of your face if you want to. It's so cool. But you can check it all out. You get that free trial at secureupdater.com. If you have one of our computers that you bought from Schrock and you don't have a Secure Updater subscription, you already have Secure Updater installed on your computer. All you have to do, you got a free 2-week trial when you got the computer. All you have to do is open the program up and it'll give you a link to click on to go activate it and to go to buy a subscription for it. It's about $2 a month, guys, for the subscription for Secure Updater. It's totally worth it to save your bacon because these vulnerabilities will bypass any antivirus software, even ours. 866-496-8772. Let's jump into those phones here. Dale, how can I help you today on Compute This?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Actually, I'm calling to see if you could help my daughter have any suggestions. She lives in another state, but she's had a Facebook account for probably 11 years, I guess. I'm not a Facebook user, but and just add a little bit to it. The company she works for is paying for a training, online training that she'll get certified that she'll be able to keep, after she leaves the company. And she does it on her own time. But one of the big aspects of this online course is the social, chat room, forum, or something connected with it.
Right.
Well, anyway, she got a notification. In fact, I was talking with her on the phone, and she said, I got to let you go. Somebody's trying to get into my Facebook account. Well, I guess it was from China. They changed her, was able to an old email that she doesn't use anymore, Hotmail.
Yep.
Got in, that's how she thinks, changed her password, and basically locked her out. She, sent a message to Facebook, to Noah Dale. She needed to have a Facebook account. It's required for both for this course and connected with her work.
Mm-hmm.
So she set up another one on a variation of her name. Long story short, she set up 3 more since then, hasn't heard anything back from Facebook other than they think she's the one that's setting up legitimate accounts now.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll get a message from them that they want a picture of her face or a photo with a picture of her face to verify it. And they've either removed the ones she set up or just kind of froze them. And somebody told her that, and the last one she set up wasn't even really close to her name. She just used a few letters out of her name. Somebody told her that maybe it's connected with her IP address at her internet at home or something, that's what they're monitoring. You got any suggestions?
Okay, so the first thing, Facebook's going to give her a hard time because on Facebook, you're not supposed to use pseudonyms. So you can't make up a name. Like on Twitter, you can make up whatever name you want. But on Facebook, you're supposed to use your real name. So if you use anything that's a derivative of your name or not your full name, or if you have 2 Facebook accounts, that's against the rules, and you'll eventually get purged. So the best thing for her to do is to fix the original Facebook account, because that's her original account with her original name. Now, the only thing... Go ahead.
Well, she sent she's jumped through the hoops that Facebook has on their, where you send them the emails.
Right.
And absolutely hasn't heard a response back from them. And this has been going on for probably 3 weeks
or more. All right, so the thing that concerns me more, though, is before we try to regain access to the account, because right now, whoever has control of her account is masquerading as her. They're probably posting things, friends and family are seeing them and sharing them, and there could be viruses or whatever. This is how Facebook accounts get hijacked. The one common thread between everything is when you set up a Facebook account, you have to provide an email address. Now, you mentioned she had her Hotmail email address. My guess is she's probably using a new variant of that. So Hotmail was then became LiveMail, and then LiveMail.
No. She's using Gmail now. But when she initially, I think she was still in high school when she set up this Facebook account. She had a Hotmail account back then that she, I think, left. It was still associated with it, but that wasn't her main email. She's using a Gmail now.
Gotcha.
And that's how she knew that things were getting hacked. Because after they changed her password, she had a notification, through her Gmail that they did. And then probably a week later, they went in, whoever hacked it, and they changed or unassociated her phone number with that account.
Gotcha. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. If she had it set up under a Hotmail address, she would have never seen anything on Gmail.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she changed it, but no.
Unless she has
Gmail.
Gmail, unless she has Gmail set to check her Hotmail, I guess she could do that too. So, long story
Well,
short,
I don't know. Her primary email for years has been Gmail. So I don't know. Maybe that was just her thoughts. That I don't know how she was thinking that they got in through this old Hotmail account, but I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, one way or the other.
Long story short is how do you fix it from now? Is there any
right?
You know,
well, you got to secure it first. So basically, thanks for the call there. Let me step you through a couple things here that we can do. Now, you're limited a little bit because you're kind of at the mercy of Facebook here. But the thing is, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So literally, the more often you complain, the more often or the faster you're going to see results and get them escalated. So I would encourage you to continue to contact Facebook, to try to use chat options if they're available. You know, anything that you can do to get that pushed along. In this case, in this situation, if she opened up a second Facebook account, I don't think anyone would blame her if she couldn't get access to the first one. But here's the thing, and this is what we're going to cover in this Twitter story. This is how, when you have a Facebook account or a Gmail account or a Hotmail account, it's important when you change your email address to change everything that's associated with that. So if you have accounts you log into, if you get a new email address, you need to change the logins for those accounts. Now, this thing we're going to talk about with Twitter here now, this Twitter bug, for whatever reason, Twitter screwed up big time. And they were saving passwords in plain text format before they were going through the encrypted system. So they were saving it both ways. Twitter doesn't say how many accounts were affected, but Reuters reports, citing a source, that the number of affected users was, quote unquote, substantial, and that passwords were exposed for, quote unquote, several months. So when something like this happens, and it's not just Twitter, right? So because they're not telling us how many Twitter users got hit or who got hit, basically, if you have a Twitter account, you got an email this week that said reset your password. Now, here's the thing. People use passwords that are identical for multiple websites. So your Twitter password might also be your Facebook password. See what I'm saying? So when something like this gets exposed on Twitter, how do these people hack her account, and how do they continually hack her account? Because she's using the same password in multiple places for different services is what it comes down to. Technically, if we're all following the letter of the law, you are supposed to have one password for every different site you have, and you're not supposed to write them down, and they're supposed to be completely random. No English words, no acronyms, no abbreviations, no children's birth dates, nothing like that. Completely random 16-character passwords that are different for every website you have an account on, and memorize them like you're a spy, and if you got tortured, you'd have to give them up. That's not realistic. There's a big story today out that Microsoft wants to end passwords and go to biometrics, and this is exactly why. Because you just can't remember this stuff, and it's getting so hard now that even I don't do that. I have zones, basically. I have my here's my social zone, here's my financial zone, here's my communication zone, and each zone has its own password, and I roll those passwords. But at least that way, if you get into one part of my life, you can't get into all the parts. You know what I mean? So the thing I would suggest that she needs to do is, in this point, since we don't know where the data breach is coming from, she needs to get hyper vigilant about changing passwords, not just on the services that are hacked, but on her other services as well, and make sure she's at least using 2 or 3 different passwords just to kind of spread things out a little bit. The second thing is where the lovely Kimberly just posted on Facebook here for us, Facebook Live, Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, by the way. She suggests visiting the Facebook Help Center if you haven't done so already. I'm sure you've already emailed them. But they can help recover a Facebook account even if the password associated and the email address have changed. So they can get her back into control of her original account if you follow those steps at the Facebook Help Center. So if you haven't done that already, please give that a try. If you have, try again. Like I said, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Keep trying. You'll eventually get through. Thank you for the call, Dale. I appreciate you giving us a call on the program this morning. But, man, this thing with Twitter, that oh, by the way, we also got you in the drawing, Dale, for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate as well. That hopefully, if you need it, you can use that in the service center. But boy, this thing with the Twitter bug, we're talking about millions and millions of passwords, guys. This hit me. I mean, I can't. You just cannot keep yourself safe. You have to stay on top of it. Customers will ask me, Thor, can I use a password manager? And I'm sure I'm all for password managers. The only problem is with password managers, to me, I don't use one because it is a very, very fat target, right? I mean, if I hack the password management company, I've got the keys to your kingdom. I mean, that's amazing. Do you really want to put all of your credit cards in a metal box and hang them outside your house and write, credit cards do not open unless you have permission on the outside of the box. And you could put a really, really strong lock on that box, and it probably would be very, very difficult to get open. But it was also difficult to discover and patch 8 new Spectre grade vulnerabilities in Intel processors. What I'm getting at is the thieves are getting smarter, and so as a result, we need to improve our digital game. Now, there's human error involved here. You know, even I don't have completely random passwords. I have things that I can remember as my passwords. You know, weird little factoid trivia things sometimes, you know, that only I would know. Well, that's how I handle it. You can use a password manager. The last thing you want to do is use, you know, password 123, which is, again, this year was the most popular password on the planet. Password 123. Followed second was password 12345 with a capital P for extra security. You know, you know, I wouldn't want to use like new pass one or anything for my password. That would be unfortunate, right? Oh my gosh. But guys, the trouble is you're not going to escape these security things. So you have to keep your computers secure internally with antivirus and programs like Secure Updater to download these patches. Then you also have to implement password security in an answer to these things like from Twitter. When these passwords get stolen, the only thing you can do to respond to that is to change passwords. I'm going to have to do a complete password roll on everything. And you know, it's probably time anyway. I haven't done one in a year. It's time to do that. So anyway, one quick tip. When you make a password, you're supposed to include a number in it. Include a number that's the last digit of the year you established the password. So like if your password was like password 12345, that means you created that password in 2015. That's just an easy way to remember, hey, it's 2018. It might be time to roll that password. Just a little pro tip from Schrock Innovations. 866-496-8772. Got to take our final break of the show. But guys, when we come back, we're going to talk about this new report by a German tech site that says Intel's processors, now this is just Intel at this point, are affected by 8 new Spectre class vulnerabilities, including one found by Google's Project Zero. And there's the one that Google's Project Zero is the one who identified the first vulnerability. So these are going to be legit, guys, and it's going to not be good news for Intel users. So we're going to tell you about that. If you have an Intel processor in your computer, don't go away. You need to hear what's coming up next on Compute This.
Now you can configure and purchase laptops, desktops, tablets, and more, all at the new SchrockInnovations.com. Check out our specials for one-of-a-kind discounts and deals. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs. And all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo-jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed like Endpoint and Secure Updater so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All right, guys, welcome back in. Final segment of Compute This. 866-496-8772 is the number to join us on the program today. If you have a comment or question on the show, we'll get you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate as well. Funny thing we were talking about during the break, the last pro tip that you just heard, it basically is, the scammers are going to call you and tell you, hey, we need to get into your computer, and they're going to tell you whatever they need to tell you, like an IP address, or I just love that mumbo jumbo. It's going to, if they're going to tell you something to get you to let them remote in. So this week I'm doing Schrock Desks, helping people out with the safe upgrade. And this lady's like, Thor, you tell me you're not supposed to let people remote into our computer. Are you sure this is safe? And I'm like, oh, my goodness. Okay, this is like dating, right? So, like, if you approach the guys, it's not creepy, okay? But if the guys are constantly chasing and approaching you, it can get a little creepy, right? So it's all about who initiates contact here. You're calling me, asking me for help. So I'm going to say, let me help you. And you're going to let me help you because I'm the guy on the radio even. It was crazy. I had one lady tell me that it was like we're talking to a movie star. I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. My wife is not going to let me live that one down. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, so if we tell you let's do a Schrock Desk, then that means it's okay. We're not going to transfer you to the companies in India to hack your computer. You'll be good to go. 866-496-8772. All right, so Spectre class vulnerabilities. Right now, the current reports, these vulnerabilities have not been released yet. So no one in the wild knows what they are. We don't know what they do yet. But basically, the way that this disclosure works, the responsible disclosure, is if you find a big bug like this, you contact the company first. When you contact the company first, you let them know what's going on. You say, hey, there's a vulnerability. You give them 90 days to fix it, 3 months. And if they don't fix it, at that point, you've done your socially responsible thing, and you can go public with your news and get a bunch of accolades and headlines for finding the next big security flaw. It puts pressure on these companies to lean on their Singaporean patch writers to Singaporean, is that right? I don't know. But anyway, they can lean on their guys to get the patches written and get them done. Well, the Spectre vulnerability was a disaster. We found out that every processor ever made by Intel was vulnerable. So they released a patch that slowed the computers down by 30%. And then on top of it, the patch introduced random reboots. So then they pulled the patch. Sound familiar? They pulled the patch and then issued a new patch. So now people don't know if they're patched or not patched. So finally, everybody thinks they got their stuff patched for this. Now there are 8 more of these vulnerabilities. The patches are in the works right now. Intel is making microcode, which is basically patch instructions that will be distributed to operating system companies, driver companies, things like that, so that they can write patches for these Intel chips and make it work. The bottom line is if you have a Schrock modular computer, at this time, AMD processors are not impacted by this. There is research going on right now to see if they are impacted. So we don't know. That's not a final verdict, but at this time it is only Intel processors, which means laptops mostly, but no desktops built by Schrock unless they're special ordered with Intel chips, come with Intel chips. So your modular computers should be good to go. Need to draw a winner real quick, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Today's winner is Bonnie. Congratulations, Bonnie. You're going to get that out to you on Monday, and we'll see you again next week for another edition of Compute This.
From the Millard Roofing Studios, we've got you covered. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB, Omaha, an iHeart radio station.
Demands for the documents. I'm Pam Puso, Fox News. As the special counsel's Russia investigation wears on, Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee want to know more about alleged FISA abuses by the FBI and the Department of Justice.
We sent a letter to Attorney General Jeff Sessions, a classified letter. Per usual, it was ignored, not acknowledged, just completely ignored.
Committee Chairman Devin Nunes of California tells Fox and Friends he may go to court to hold the Attorney General in contempt after a subpoena to obtain the information was also issued. Democrats argue the